Hey, book club.
I promise, the next time I do a Witcher book, I'm gonna do that weird apple juice thing that you guys told me about, but I'm lazy today.
And we all know that Harry Dresden drinks beer.
I've had this before, I know I like it.
This is an Ontario beer. It's a cream ale. I like cream ale. I mean, I know I like cream ale. I don't know why I like cream ale, but I mean, I know I do, so that's all that matters, right? Today we're talking about the third book in the Dresden Files series and the third chapter of The Lost Wish. It gets better, they said. He hits his stride in his third book, they said. Way better than 2, they said. Promises, promises. You wanna know how I feel about the third Dresden book? Grave Peril by Jim Butcher basically follows the wizard detective Harry Dresden as he's trying to find out why the ghosts in his city are all riled up and acting a fool. And I mean, I really love the first book. I really didn't love the second book. So I was really unenthusiastic going into this one. The book opens up with a new character and we're just thrown right into the middle of a situation where Harry and Michael are going to stop this ghost, Agatha Hagglethorne, from killing a bunch of kids at a hospital or something like that. That was pretty good. I was pretty into it. And then there was this whole flashback chapter that tells us the beginning of the day 2 when we started reading chapter 1, and I didn't need that chapter at all. And that kind of threw me out. It took me out of the moment that I got into with chapter 1. And as we got further into the book, I started to get a little bit more engaged, but it didn't really hit me. Like, I didn't really get into the book until we learned why the ghosts were acting up. That stuff I found riveting. I really liked when we started to get a little bit into the mystery of what was happening. Like, I was on board. I was so in. I mean, I wish we had a little bit more Murphy. I really like the Michael character. I hope he sticks around. I was really into it. Until something happens. I'll talk about it in a minute. I'll just get rid of the spoiler-free portion first. Outside of this plot point that kind of killed the book for me, I wish we had more Murphy, and I wish Murphy wasn't so dumb. This book came out in 2011, and I'm really wondering if 2011 is too early to expect men to not be gross, because Harry is still gross, and I'm just waiting for him to not be gross. His chivalry is chauvinism. It's not chivalry, it's gross. I also have no idea why Susan or Harry like each other or spend any time together. I don't think their relationship was developed very well at all. I don't care about them. In fact, I would be happy if Susan evaporated. You know what? At this point, I might be happy if Harry evaporated, because I don't think I like him as a character. He was not my favorite part of this book. Michael was definitely my favorite part of this book. Okay, I'm gonna get into spoilers now. This is the timestamp of the rating of Grave Peril, and after that I'll get into The Witcher. I have my notes for the things I hated. Why do Susan and Harry like each other? I know I said this already, but just, man, I don't like Susan at all. She is so dumb. Like, there are some things that happen with her that are just so dumb. When she calls Harry and he's wrestling the demon and she never calls back, he never calls her back. It's been like over a day and there's craziness going on in the world and they just don't talk to each other. Get out of here, Susan. Overall for the story, the thing that killed it for me was when Bianca was behind it all. When Bianca was the puppet master, I was done. Like, that was so stupid. Bianca hates Harry because he made her angry enough to kill one of her own people. How old is this lady? She's smarter than that. Like, that was just so unrealistic for me. I was so on board with the nightmare. I was so on board with it being, okay, it's the ghost of a demon. Oh no, it's not the ghost of a demon. It is this like other wizard thing. Whatever, super convoluted. I was here for it. But then it was like, oh, the vampires are behind it all? Get out of here. And the way this book ended, you know there's gonna be more books. Save Bianca for a later storyline. Have Harry just get under her skin time and time again until she goes crazy with it. Until she can't do anything but try and kill him. This was too early. Him and Bianca duking it out in book 3 was too early. Especially because I kind of liked Bianca. Like, I don't know. I think she would have been a better villain later on. We should have had more time to get to know her and maybe get to see how dark she is. But I feel like I just kept getting told how horrible vampires are. So yes, Susan calling while Harry's like wrestling the demon and then not calling back and the two of them not checking in on each other, and then her turning up at a vampire party. Girl, how long have you been around for? You've been dating this guy for a year and you're just gonna show up to a vampire party? Like, is there no trust built in this relationship? I thought you guys loved each other. What's happening here? Also, Murphy. There should have been way more Murphy in this book, but with the little we had, she's just an idiot. Like when she hangs up on Harry, what? How did that serve you the last time? What happened the last time you didn't listen to him, Murphy? Why are you so stupid? Like when this guy's life is on the line, her detective friend who's like gone whatever, when his life is on the line, you call Harry. Harry comes, he comes through for you, he helps, and then he calls you and he's like, Murph, it's important, I need to talk to you, and you hang up on him because you think he's coming? Girl, you know there's crazy stuff happening. Why are you hanging up on him? This just felt like the Scorpion desk thing all over again, and I'm bored of it. I guess my last ranty thing about this book is that the godmother is stupid. Her whole idea is stupid, and you know what else? It's gross too. Godmothers aren't supposed to want to get jiggy with their godchildren, and I'm not sure why that was happening. And I'm not sure why Harry was thinking, just revolting. I also really didn't like that she just like snapped her fingers and problems went away for him. Like why? Why does she want him so bad? And I mean, this book was too soon for Bianca to be the baddie and not soon enough for the godmother to just solve his problems because she wants him. Why? Because he was promised to her. Okay, so what? Why? I want more context to why she's doing these things because it just looks stupid. And at the end with the memory thing, like, oh, I'll take a year of your Of course she's gonna take the most recent year, Susan. Jeez Louise, like have you never read a fantasy novel? Do you not have a brain? I really liked Michael. I thought he was such a great character. He really saved the book for me. He was so funny, so uplifting. I really like the idea of faith has power, and just the fact that Michael has faith gives him real power. I love that. I loved the scene where Harry is going over to Michael's, getting him ready to leave, and he's like, what about the kids? And Michael kind of rolls his eyes, opens the door, and the father is at the door just coincidentally. I loved it. That was so great. And I think their relationship was pretty solid. I did like how they interacted with each other. That was good. I thought the way the book ended was dumb. I really didn't like the whole Susan almost a vampire thing. Like that seemed like a bit of a cop-out. Susan not being able to be with him on top of losing a year of her memory just felt like overkill. If you want to put a roadblock in between these two people, her having to fall in love with him again after he's just poured his soul out to her is a great way to do it. We don't need this I love you so you don't bite people and drink blood thing. I don't need that. I don't need that in my life. That's not something I want or need. Anyways, overall, Michael's the only reason I'm going to read the next book and hope for Murphy. And maybe just to see if Jim Butcher continues to make Harry a disgusting character who only looks at women as blow-up dolls that are walking around for his enjoyment. Overall, I give this book 2.5 out of 5 Harry Potter lightning bolts because I really... Maybe I'll give it 3. Yeah. Overall, I give this book 3 Harry Potter lightning bolts. I'll bump it up from a 2.5 to a 3 because I was really engaged in the beginning. I really, really liked it. And I thought that if...
God, what a gorgeous freeze frame. Skip ahead until this timestamp because I'm about to give a huge spoiler and I totally forgot it was here. Skip ahead. Skip now!
It hadn't been Bianca behind it all, and if this weird ancient vampire dragon lady hadn't showed up at the end, this would have really, really been a great book. I think they could have cut the whole vampire plotline out, although I did really like the sex vampire. He was cool. I hope he shows up again. But I think if they cut the whole vampire plot out, somehow worked in the godmother taking a year of Susan's memory and ended it there, had a little bit more Murph, this would have been a great book. But he didn't do any of those things, so you get a 3. Just a quick reminder that I am an independently published author. My book, Magic Required, is available on Amazon, Audible, and any major distributor, and my second book, Dominion Required, is now available for pre-sale. If you do order the book in pre-sale, or if you have already, thank you so much, and please don't forget to enter the draw. You can find all the information in the description. All right, on to what we're all really here for. The Witcher. Okay, so I got a lot of tabs. And notes, too. Tabs and notes. I got a lot to say, guys. And I got a lot to say because this is episode 1, right, of the show. This is Snow White. That's cool. I also guess this is where they got the Destiny stuff they talked about in the show, because Destiny was like the 10th word anybody said all the time. Blah, 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 Destiny, blah, 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 Destiny, blah, 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 Destiny. This one was funny. I laughed out loud a few times. I mean, I'm an easy mark, but I definitely laughed out loud with a few of the lines in this short story. Oh, and man, I am so impressed with the show. Like verbatim some lines from this book right into the show. That was pretty cool. As a person who watched the show first, to then be like, wow, you guys were hella true to the source material in terms of dialogue. Like, great job, Netflix. All right. Okay, so we have chapter 3. We have our voice of reason thing where where he's talking to Nanika. Yo, I love Nanika. She's so funny. So there's a line where somebody's mouthing off and Nanika says, I delivered you, you shitty brat, and I pity your mother, but don't tempt fate and don't force me to teach you manners. Yo, get it, Nanika. Get it. She's so funny. I like her. And then somebody's mouthing off to Big G and he says, not ceasing to smile. So he's smiling the whole time he says this. If he draws his sword, I'll take it from him. I can't even get through without laughing. I think it's so funny. If he draws his sword, I'll take it from him and beat the snotty-nosed little brat's arse with the flat of his blade. And then I'll batter the door down with him. I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's the vocabulary. I just think it's so funny. But like I said, I'm an easy mark. And so are the Witcher fans. Ooh. Just kidding. The Lesser Evil. When I saw the title, The Lesser Evil, I was like, oh, okay, I remember this episode, but I didn't really know that it was this episode, like the whole thing. So that was pretty cool. Another line that got me laughing was when Geralt shows up at his old buddy's house, hasn't seen him in a couple years, and the guy's like, just don't do what you did last time because my wife didn't like it. And Big G is like, you mean throw a fork at the rat? And he goes, no, I mean when you hit it, even in the dark. And Geralt says, I thought it would be amusing. I thought that was so funny. You mean when I threw a... No, I mean when you hit it, even in the dark. Like the dialogue is just so real. Like I just, oh man, so funny. Witchers and Wizards. The name of this series is in this book. I love it. It's because me and Big G are meant to be together because we're both marshmallows. The it doesn't rhyme line about the prophecy when Geralt goes to see Stregobor, that made me laugh in the show. So I didn't laugh, I was like more happy that it was pulled directly from the book, but I like that too. This one was funny. And when I feel like all of these tabs were just like, I chuckled to myself and I want to tell you guys about it. So I put a tab in. When Geralt asks for the story of the daughters and the Black Sun and whatever, and Stregobor says, without interrupting with spiteful comments, and Geralt says, that I can't promise. And then we get the evil is evil line, which I love it. I think that line is so good, not just in the context of the show or the book, just in the context of life. And I know that we all live in the grays. Nobody is perfect, but I definitely really connected with that line. When we meet Renfri's band of minions, weird that somebody's name is 15, but I did really like that one of them was half elf, and we get a little just an aside about the prejudice in the world, which I thought was interesting and very smoothly put in. It was in context. It helps with a little world building. That was a great bit of writing, like formatting of how to get this world building in, just very subtle and within conversation. I really like that. Geralt turned round very slowly and looked into eyes the color of sea. She was almost as tall as him. She wore her straw-colored hair unevenly cut just below the ear. Straw-colored hair? Renfri is blonde in the book? Horrible casting! Horrible show!
She's not blonde in the show. Oh my god. I would feel so horrible if I was that short brunette girl who played Renfri, stealing the role from a tall blonde girl who really deserved it.
I really like that Renfri did not put up with somebody calling her young lady. I mean, he continued to call her young lady, but she also called him out for it, which I really appreciated because, quick aside here, I had coached for a number of years teenage boys basketball, and I often had a male assistant coach. And if you're not a basketball person, more often than not, though not all the time, the coach sits in the first chair, the second chair is the assistant coach, and then you'll have your other coaches, and then you'll have the team. On a club team, we only had 2 coaches, so it was me and my assistant. So one day, I'm at the gym, I'm sitting in the first chair, my assistant coach is sitting in the second chair. I'm writing on the clipboard the starting lineup, and a referee walks past me, goes over to my assistant coach, and sticks out his hand and says, "Hey coach, how are you?" And my assistant coach stands up, shakes his hand, and says, "Actually, she's the coach." I stood up, shook his hand, and he goes, "Hello, young lady." Oh my God, the will it took for me not to say, "Hello, old man." So Renfri, I feel you, girl. There was someone in his little attic room. Geralt knew it before he even reached the door, sensing it through the barely perceptible vibrations of his medallion. 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 He's really jingly when he moves. That's not good for sneaking. Not good for sneaking. I said it the very first time before I knew anything about anything. A lot of people had something to say about it, but it's in the barely perceptible. Why is he jingling like a reindeer on Christmas in the game trailer if it's barely perceptible? Let's just go to the next tab. I found it very interesting that only evil, greater evil, and true evil were all capitalized like they were titles. I actually love that. Like they're their own entity, their own power, and all of them different. I just thought that was cool and a cool thing to think about. I also found it very interesting and just very well done that Stregobor and Renfri say basically the exact same thing to Geralt. And we had this in the show as well, so it's not the first time I'm reading this, but I did really appreciate that they were so loyal to the source material. So there's a bit that I got kind of confused about, and I feel like at the end of every chapter so far, I've been a little bit confused about something going on. Does Renfri get like low-key hypnotized, or does she just zone out staring at his medallion? And she gives this little like prophecy, right, about what's gonna happen before they bone, and then they bone because Big G's a marshmallow. And if memory serves, although I don't remember for sure, the girl who takes Big G to Stregobor in the show,
How much coin for your Kiki more than?
has the same name as Geralt's buddy's daughter in the book. Marilka. You know what I mean. I think that's cool. Cool little nod. How much for your Kikimora then? Yeah, I mean, this was fun. I look forward to reading the next part. I look forward to reading the next chapter of this way more than I look forward to reading the next Dresden book, so we'll see. The next one is A Question of Price. This one made me think that maybe I don't, like, when I eventually, so slowly, I know you guys hate me because I'm reading that book so slowly, but because I'm reading it so slowly, it makes me not want to read book, is it book 2 that's going to be season 2? Like, I don't really know if I want to get spoiled for the show, but I am having a great time reading this one. I give The Lesser Evil 1.5 out of 1 Harry Potter lightning bolts because holy moly, it was so fun. I actually read it twice. It was cool that they put in the apple thing, that they put in the 7 dwarves thing. Like, it was great. I love a good retelling. So, my 2 questions for you. Number 1, what is your favorite retelling? I said in a previous Overbooked that Cinderella is one of my favorite stories of all time. Like, I will watch Cinderella, Robin Hood, and the Three Musketeers until the end of time. I actually don't care how bad it is. I will love it. But I will say that Enchanted was one of my favorite retellings. And I mean, it's just like a retelling of A Princess Tale or whatever. That and Ever After. Ooh, I love those movies so much. And my second question to you is, what is your favorite third book? Or do you have a favorite third book? And you know what? I'll expand it past books. Your favorite third anything other than The Witcher 3, that doesn't count. Is the third of anything better than the first or second? And for me, I mean, I think this is a pretty easy one. The third Harry Potter book was my favorite. I love that one so much. I've read it more than all the, maybe that's not true. I've probably read the first one the most. Maybe the fourth one, because I had that one on cassette tape first. I think I still have it on cassette tape. Do I have it somewhere behind me? I don't, but I do have the Once More with Feelings CD. Season 3 of Buffy! Season 3 of Buffy was so good! It was the best one. Oh my gosh. Every single night, the same arrangement. I go out and fight the fight. I'm getting very distracted. I gotta book out of here. Still, I always feel the strangest estrangement. Nothing here is real, nothing here is right. Oh, the nostalgia! I've been making shells of trading blows, just hoping no one knows. Alright, well, since I've been going through the motions. Until next time, walking through the park, may the force be with you. Live long and prosper, and don't let the muggles get you down. Nothing seems to penetrate my heart, 'cause I know what you feel, girl. Bunnies, it must be bunnies! I've got a theory that it's a demon. A dancing demon. Oh, something isn't right there. God, how can it be? I actually hated Tara. She snores, she wheezes, say house where Kenny freezes. She eats these skeezy cheeses that I can't describe. Why can't I feel my skin should crack and peel? Let me rest in peace. I could do a one-woman show of this. I hope she fries. I'm free if that bitch dies. I better help her out.